everybody. So I'm back again today with another video. Today I wanted to pop in here and just kind of tell you about this video so you know what we're going to do. This has been a really requested topic for me, and that's how I edit my movies in iMovie. And so if you are getting started with iMovie or you're getting started in this crafty business, another great resource for you is my Facebook group. I have a Facebook group dedicated to filming, to photography, all of those things. So I will link that in the description below. This video is me on my computer showing you how to edit the iMovie. I will go over setting it up, creating an album, saving your work, exporting your work, voicing over. So a lot of questions about how you voice over a movie in iMovie. So we'll do all of those things. I'll time code this video so that if you need a specific item for help, so if you need voiceovers, I'll make sure I include that in the time code so you can jump right to that if you need to. This video does not have any specific affiliate links. I will link anything I can in the description. But that being said, still 85% of people watching my channel have not hit the subscribe button. So if you could do that, that helps me so much. It's a way for me to generate a slight bit of income, and I need every bit I can get because I'm getting started in this business. So if you would do that, I would appreciate it. Just know that I do a happy dance anytime I see that number go up. So like, subscribe, and then we'll get right into this video. If there's questions, concerns, I always look at my comments, so make sure you put those there. I also love getting suggestions for videos. This suggestion for this video came from comments from previous filming and photography videos. So I do pay attention to those, and I try to make them for you if I can. So we're gonna get right into it. Have a great day. Here we go. Okay, so let's start out with a tip right up front. Let's create an album that is only used for your iMovie. So I created one and it just says New Mac Media because I had an older Mac that I was using, and when I went to this computer I just said this is the new Mac and here's all the info on here. So I keep this album cleaned out. Once I've made a movie with these items, I remove them from the album. It doesn't mean I remove them from my computer, but I remove them from the album. And the reason that I do that is because your iMovie requires a lot of space, a lot of memory, and if I have all of those things in there, I feel like it runs slower. So now I'm clicking to open iMovie. This is what comes up for me, but you've got two different screens that can pop up. And if you see in the top, there's one that's called Media and there's one that's called Projects. I tend to like starting from the project and just adding Create New, iMovie. You've got an option for a trailer there. I don't ever create trailers. But here is what we're gonna do. So now I've got all my albums, and this is where the New Mac Media album makes sense. So mine automatically pulls it up, but every time I start a new movie, I go back and click on all my albums. And the reason I do this is because it doesn't seem to upload into my New Mac Media. If I just moved videos in there right before this and I'd been doing another thing, I don't see that they upload very quickly. So I go back to all my albums and click on it. You'll see all the pictures of my cute kiddos, and right here is New Mac Media. So we're gonna click on that, and then once it brings it up, it tends to load anything that I just put in and remove things that I got out of there. I don't know why that is, and I'm sure there's some type of workaround, but this is what I have to do. Usually it takes a couple minutes. You can see how some of those are still gray, and it takes a minute for it to load again. So I usually give it a couple of minutes. I feel like maybe 2 or 3 minutes. See how it's already popping back in there, and it fills those. Once it's done that, still sometimes when you pull the video down into your timeline, which is this area, you will have another delay of that video moving down into the timeline and being completely ready. So just know that's normal for it to have a little bit of delay. It's got to pull these big files into different areas of your computer and get it ready to work on. So it does take some time. One way that you can tell that things are still downloading is see where this arrow's popped up? It's got a little pie right there that's not completely finished, which means it's just still pulling videos. You can still scroll over your videos and look through them, which is nice. When iMovie imports my movies into this album, a lot of times I feel like it pulls them in backwards order, which is kind of weird. Like the first video is not on my top left, instead it's at the bottom. And so I have to a lot of times scroll through these to see which video I'm starting with. And with this one, we're going to be making this dark gray card that I'm scrolling over here, and I see that my first video is right down here. It's the 7.4 minute. It's really nice to have those numbers in the corner like that, because when you pull a video down, sometimes it's hard to tell if you got all of them, and you can go into the corner and see how long each segment is, and then you can compare it up here and say, oh, okay, that's the 52.8 second one. I've got that. That's something that I use all the time because I'll get a little confused. So I'm going to pull these down and we'll get started. Throughout this, I will split clips and try to zoom in on things so you can see better, but I pulled this one down. You see how it's kind of dark in the timeline? I just pulled another one in and pulled it in front of it. And the reason it's dark like that is because it has not finished loading. I'm going to zoom in on where you know when it's finished loading, but it just turns brighter like it is up the front, almost like the lights were turned on when it's done loading. But here's the other way to tell if you're still loading. This little area right here shows you that all of that is still loading. When that pie is full and completely white, it will be done. So I go on and just drag everything in the order that I think it needs to be. And while I'm dragging those in, they are loading. So it just saves me time to not sit here and wait on one of them to load when I could be putting other things in the timeline. So I'm just looking at these movies, trying to decide which order my video goes in. Usually once I get started, most things are pretty close, but you've always got the option later on to move them around. So I'm going to pull all of them into the timeline. As I'm pulling them in, you'll see this one has not loaded, and then watch, this one's bright, so it's loaded, and you can tell down at the bottom that it has some audio with it. So when I'm recording on my phone, which is what I use to record, it's picking up ambient audio like of the TV, things that I'm watching, and it's down there in that lower area. I'm going to stop it and put an arrow on it so you can see that. So here's that ambient audio. You see right there? The way that you get rid of this is you need to click on your clip. So I'm going to highlight the clip. It's going to turn yellow, as you see here. Then I'm going to right click, okay? So right click gives you several options right here. So you can do lots of different things. You don't want to hit delete right now. You want to detach the audio. So hit detach audio, and now it shows audio below my clip. I don't want that audio anymore, so I'm going to highlight it, right click again, and hit delete, okay? So I'm sure there's little shortcuts you could do with your fingers, but I'm just doing this with the mouse to show you. Now this clip has no audio with it, so we're gonna easily be able to voice over. Yet this clip has audio. You can see those little spikes at the bottom. So we're detaching the audio, clicking on that, make sure the green is highlighted, right click, delete. Okay, so that's getting rid of all that ambient audio, and we've got to do it for every single clip. So just do the same process, and you have to wait. I accidentally hit split clip, so oops, I messed up. It's not what I meant to do. Let me show you how to fix it. Zooming in to show you this top movie, edit, undo, split, and anything that you want to undo is under edit, undo, and it'll change whatever you're doing. Split, you know, you deleted something you weren't supposed to. It works for all of it. Okay, I'm going to go up to the top while I'm waiting on this and show you what's behind these tabs. So I'm going to zoom in. Currently up here we're under the tab of My Media, which is what I usually do. I do have audio and video, which you can download some things from the YouTube Studio that you can use if you need to fill in a space with just music. A lot of that has some kind of rights and things to it, so you need to check that. This is titles. So if you're going to create a title, you just grab whichever one you want to look like and drag it down. You also have options of backgrounds, which I have never used. I'm sure there's a good reason for them. And then transitions. This is super fun. So as you go across this, it's going to show you how the transition goes, and you can put that in between clips. It really looks pretty cool and can make your video look really nice. So I love this page curl one, like you're turning back and seeing the final product. So there's lots of options here that you can play with at some point, and you just drag these down in between two sections of video and it will create the transition. So I'm going to drag one of these transitions down and put it in between these two clips. It will create a little, I guess, two triangles together there that shows you there's a transition. Look up here. Awesome. Okay, I'm going to show you one more time. Look at that. I've got my arrow pointing right there. So if you want to remove this, you just need to go to undo and undo the ad, and it'll take it out. So I have my video laid out how I want. I'm going to pull this little short video that I made in Canva. It has music associated with it. So I'm going to show you, I'm going to zoom in right here and show you how you adjust the volume. This is important for just what your voice is going to be in the next clip. You don't want it to be really loud music and then a really low voice, because if you think about somebody opening this on their phone or something like that, you want to make the actual volume make sense. So let's go to the next part. And now let's start our voiceover. So we're going to go to this little microphone right here and click on it. It's going to change this middle button here to red, and that's your record button. Next to it are all the things you can adjust. So you can see that my input source is my microphone. You want to make sure that's the case. You may have to set that up the first time. And then this button is your record button. So you just press on it, it's going to give you a countdown, and you'll be able to record into whatever device that is. You could use AirPods, you could use your microphone from your actual computer, lots of different ways that you can do that. It has volume controls there too, which I usually just leave mine about halfway, and I usually click the button to mute the project. Although I've already taken my audio out, I just feel like, I don't know, I just have left it that way, I guess you could say. Now, before you start recording, you need to put the line that's white in the timeline, I'm going to point at it, where you want to start talking. You hit the red button, which I'm doing right now, you get this countdown, 3, 2, 1, and it starts right where you had originally put that white line that's moving across. So now you've talked, you hit the space bar to stop, or you hit the red button again. Here's another instance where you can change the volume, you just can kind of scroll it up and down. Or if you want to delete this area, you can click on the green box. I'm going to highlight it yellow, right click, delete, and you can record again. Okay, now let's talk about splitting the clips. Now, why you would do this is if you want to take a section out. So I know that at the end of where I just talked, I wanted to remove something from this section. So I'm going to right click, split the clip. If you want to remove a section, you got to split it again somewhere. So I'm following through up at the top, deciding where I want this to end, and then I'm going to right click again and hit split clip. Now, do you see right there in between, there's 2 splits? So I can delete this middle section just by clicking on it, right-clicking, delete. Okay? So that way, I've got things, you can make your transitions a little bit easier, whatever you want to do. I'll show you this voiceover again. So I'm going to line up my white line in the timeline right here. That's where I want to start recording. Hit my record button, and then it's going to count down for me. 3, 2, 1. So that you know when to start. And that does make a little noise. I know I don't have that on there so that you can hear the noise because I've deleted the audio from this, but it makes a little beeping noise that counts down for you. So you can kind of hear it. You'll get real used to it, trust me, and know exactly when you need to start talking. So once I've finished voicing this over, then it's time to do a few more things to this video. I'm going to show you how to export it, ways to save it, etc. Okay, now I've got it completely voiced over. It's time to save this and export it. So we're going to go click this button, click export file, and this box pops up, and you want to make sure you've got it in the resolution you want to use. It does go up to 4K, but I usually film in 1080, so I'm just going to go with that. Quality high, compress fast, then hit the next button. And you're going to have to name it. So name it something you'll remember. You'll probably have to do this again. So I always say name it what you're going to remember. And it's going to go to my desktop. You can send it anywhere, but I like having them on my desktop. And then this button's going to start going. This is a 15-minute video that I'm editing, and I'm sending it here. I feel like it probably takes 5 minutes to export, maybe a little less. I may be overstating. But once this circle turns completely white, it has been exported to where you told it to go. So I told mine to go to the desktop, and I'll show you what happens once that is completely exported. All right, and then it'll show that your share is successful. That goes away, and then I need to show you how to put your project up. You're ready to be done with this project. You go up here to this little button that says projects and hit the back button, which, I mean, it takes you back to your projects. if you did not, for some reason, I do not know why it does this, but it likes you to name it again. So I have to name it again. I'm sure there's some reason that's happening, but I usually do name it the exact same thing and name it again. Here's where it shows up. It's under your projects, and when you roll over it, it'll tell you how long it is, what day you completed it. The 3 little dots right here, you can click on that and delete it if you want to, which would be probably a bad idea if you just spent all this time working on it. But that is right there for you until you delete it. So if you needed to re-edit or anything like that, you can click back on it. It'll drop down into your timeline and you can do more editing. And I will put a card right up here that links to that video that I edited while I was talking to you and showing it to you, in case you want to see what the final video comes out looking like. And that way you can ask questions or comment on that if you would like. Okay, so I hope that that went through and answered lots of questions for you. But if there's still something that I have not covered in this video, put it in the comments and I will see if I can answer it quickly in the comments, or if it really does need an entire video dedicated to it, I will work on doing that. So thank you guys so much for being with me today. If you hadn't hit the subscribe and like button, make sure you do that. Please check the description for any links. It will have the link to my new Facebook group in there. I would love to have as many people in there as possible. And I hope that everybody just has a great day. Have fun crafting, and hopefully this made editing in iMovie a little less stressful for you. So have a great day. Bye.